YouTube, welcome to my channel, Anna Bella, and today I'm going to be reviewing the 2021 film, an actual film that's being released. Admittedly, it is only on Netflix. It is called The Dig, and it tells the story of the Sutton Hoo dig in Suffolk. Why is this such a momentous thing? Well, the Sutton Hoo dig in Suffolk happened just before World War II, and at that time in archaeology, everybody was mad about Romans and Greeks, and finding Roman villas and British Roman this and British Roman that. But they were obviously the Romans had invaded and conquered Britain. Finding an Anglo-Saxon ship, not only with the wood intact, but all the remaining burial chamber and the body and everything else, gave Anglo-Saxon, which is the native people of Britain, a place on world history. It's from the Dark Ages, so basically it shone light. It showed that they had culture, that they had art, that they could make intricate metal designs, that these people travelled, that there was a purpose to their lives. They had art, culture, literature, and a vast life. Because before that, we thought that they didn't have anything, hence the name the Dark Ages. Not true. What is even more spectacular is basically Mrs. Pretty, who is played wonderfully by Carrie Milligan, is an upper-class British widow whose husband is a colonel who has died. She had to wait to marry him because she was looking after her father, who was not very well. It also meant that she got a place to go to London University. She couldn't take it because her dad wouldn't allow it because of attitudes to women in education at the time, but more so, Dad wanted her as a nursemaid. So when she was 17, this colonel asked her to marry him. She had to decline, and every year since, she kept declining the colonel. Her father dies, she can finally get married. She marries the colonel, has a son. In about an 18-month period, the colonel then drops dead. So she is left a very wealthy woman living in Suffolk with her only child. She's got these mounds, she wants to excavate them. So she first goes to a chap called Basil Brown. He is not an archaeologist, he has no university training, he is all self-taught. He knows about the skies, he's written books on astronomy, he knows all sorts of things, and he's all self-taught. He reads and is a very, very well-educated man, but he's all self-taught because he left school at 12. He's played by Ralph Fiennes. Ralph Fiennes had to learn the Suffolk accent as well to do this. He also, in the film, gets covered in a load of mud. And the worst part apparently Rafe was worried about them scratching his face as they uncovered him. Anyway, there is also a character that is married to one of the other archaeologists, played by Lily James, noticed by the glasses and the big frizzy hair, and her husband is quite clearly gay, so he's married this woman as a decoy, and he's gay with another archaeologist. Mrs. Pretty doesn't have many relatives. She only has a son and her nephew. Her nephew is due to be called up in the RAF, but before that she gets him to come to her house because she's worried about health, because it's failing, because unfortunately she's got a weak heart because she had pneumonia as a child or some kind of illness as a child, and it's weakened her valves. So she's fading fast. So she gets her cousin to come because she's thinking the cousin will look after her son. But he's due to be called up to the RAF, so that's not going to fly. He also has a relationship with Lily James's character. Sorry, not Lily Allen, Lily James's character. The scenery and the British countryside is beautifully shot, great cinematography, great bird sounds, and what is really good is for the first sort of 45 minutes of this film is it's just Basil Brown, Mrs. Pretty and her son, who are the three main characters. Then a whole host of other people come and it gets a bit confusing. But those relationships are strong throughout. Basil Brown's character is also married to the supportive and wise May, and that is really good. It is a slow burner, but it's just the sort of thing that we actually want to watch during a lockdown. It's got beautiful countryside, the story is good, it's all about accepting the fact that death is all around us in life. Mrs. Pretty's husband is dead. The Reed Wold of East Anglia, that's the dead important bloke that's buried in the ship from AD 300 to 1100. according to the British Museum. That's where the artefacts are now. They're in the British Museum. Some of the National Trust has ownership of the land where the mounds are. The treasures, which has 263 finds and treasures, are in the British Museum. During the war, they stayed in Mrs. Pretty's house. They then got moved to the London Underground, as did everything that was valuable and important, including people, had to stay in the London Underground during the war. The London Underground was a huge air raid shelter because of the bombs. This is an excellent film. It is lovingly shot, really good craftsmanship, and you can really see that everybody cared about this story because it is an important story, and it's an important British story that needs to be told. So just before the Second World War, we find something that validates us not as a conquered people by the Roman Britons, but as Anglo-Saxons in our own right. And it shows that the native people of Britain did have art, they did have culture, they did have a life that wasn't just based on the fact of being attacked by Vikings or being attacked by Romans or being attacked by anybody. That the native Celtic peoples, the Anglo-Saxons, actually had culture and art, and that was and it still is a momentous find, because it changes the Dark Ages into an age where they actually were fairly enlightened people, weirdly enough. Anyway, it's really good. I enjoyed watching it. Out of 5, I'd give it a 5. I know I give a lot of 5s, but hey, I even like Cats the movie. But then again, I get Cats the movie. Some people say that it's terrible, it's shot, and it should never have been a thing. The musical movie is perfect. That is 100% true. The film gives us an extra element to it, and it's just because people freak out over the anamorphic CGI cats. I can live with it because CGI is CGI. You just get with it, people. What is your problem? They aren't going to take away their human faces because they don't in the musical. Anyway, enough about Cats, which is about a million miles away from this. Totally different thing. This is based in reality, it's based in fact, and it's a very human drama. There are some really well-paced moments. The setting of the Suffolk countryside is allowed to actually be a character in itself. You have the river, you have the sky, you have the birds, you have the sunset, you have the lighting. It is all beautifully done. 5 out of 5 from me. Like, comment and subscribe. And the next film that I'm going to be reviewing is The White Crow, then Wonder Woman 1985. Just so you know, I am getting round to it. Bye!